back to the castle, where nobody's innocent, everyone's dramatic, and common sense did not make the guest list. Let's recap the Traitors Season 4. This is kinda unhinged. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another Traitors video, and we are on Season 4, Episode 2. So we begin this episode right where the last episode left off, and the Traitors have to decide who they're gonna unalive from the secret traitor shortlist. So obviously they're not gonna go with Rob R, considering that he's a traitor. So they go through the positives of getting rid of the other three, and they start with Ian. And they said by taking him out, they're getting rid of a smart player, they're getting rid of a gamer, they're getting rid of someone who could potentially find them out. And they said if they took out Mark, it would send ripples through the house because he's so nice, and everyone would be on edge, and they'd wonder, why did they target Mark? Like, if they're gonna go after him, then none of us are safe. And they said if they took out Eric, he's an intelligent player, but he's low-key and he's under the radar. So this would cause a lot of confusion in the house. They'd be wondering, similar to Mark, why did they go after Eric? But ultimately they make their decision, and of course we won't find out until that person doesn't show up for breakfast. So speaking of breakfast, they all start coming down for breakfast, and the people that are safe are the ones that come down first, of course. And as they're coming in, group by group, Jam says to Rob C, when he sees that he comes in and that he's safe, he's like, oh, I thought for sure the Traitors were gonna take you out. I can't believe you're here. He's like, why'd you think they were gonna take me out? He's like, I don't know, you were just so nervous the whole time. And this is making Rob very suspicious of Jam because he's like, why are you trying to throw me under the bus? Like, are you a traitor? So they're looking around and they're seeing who hasn't came down, and they're making predictions of who they think is going to be unalive. And the last group comes in, and I think people were thinking that it was Michael, but Michael was the last person to come through the door. And they're like, wait, who is not here? Ian. They took out Ian. They unalived Ian. And if you know anything about this channel, then you know I love Big Brother. I am a super fan. So seeing Ian go so soon was heartbreaking. But honestly, they made the right choice because Ian is very, very smart, and he probably would have figured it out. And this upsets Tiffany because she is the sole other Big Brother alumni in the house. And she speaks on his behalf, and she says that he really wanted to play this game, and she hopes that he doesn't take it personal. And she's just upset that he was taken out of the game. And this raises Colton's spidey sense. He's like, why is Tiffany so upset about Ian being gone? He's like, I get that they came from the same show, but why is she making a big deal out of it? And clearly he doesn't get it. The Big Brother fam sticks together. So Alan comes in while they're finishing up breakfast, and he's like, well, Ian's dead and you guys have a second mission, so go ahead and finish up breakfast so you can get on that mission. We're like, okay. So before they head to the second mission, they are mingling and they're talking. And Portia's talking to a group and she's saying, man, this is hard. I can't figure out who the traitors are. And then she slips up and says, when I killed Ian. And Ron notices, and some of the other people notice, but she keeps talking. And when she said it, I thought she said it. I was like, maybe she didn't. But Ron caught it and other people caught it as well. And then we see Tiffany talking, and she's saying that she thinks that Donna might be a traitor because she's not making connections with the other players. And someone else said that when they took their blindfolds off at the round table after Alan had picked the traitors, that she seemed kind of nervous. And then we cut back to Portia, and she's talking again, and she makes a second slip up. And at this point, I'm thinking she might be the secret traitor, because who makes that many mistakes? So next, the players go to their second mission. And in this second mission, they have 3 thrones that they have to transport back to the castle. And they have 45 minutes to do this. But along the way, there will be 3 stops where they can collect money to add to their prize amount, as well as shield tokens, which makes them safe from being unalived. So they start off with 3 players on the throne. And if somebody collects a shield token, then they can dethrone another person and they can take their spot. And you want to be on the throne when it's delivered to the castle, because only the 3 people that are on the thrones when it arrives to the castle are the ones that will be shielded from being unalive. So because they have to push this thing the entire way, they're like, all right, let's just pick 3 of the lightest people and put them on the throne so that we're not having to use extra energy. And these people know that if they're picked, then they most likely will not be on the throne at the end of the race. So Tiffany, Caroline, and Candace are the ones that start off in the thrones. So when they arrive at the first stop, Monet finds a shield and he gives it to Lisa because he said that he was just looking for the nearest smallest person because he didn't feel like it was fair to make them have to push him knowing that he's a lot heavier than some of these women. And then Steven finds another shield and he does the same thing for the same reason, and he chooses Dorinda. So then they make it to their second stop. Steven once again finds another shield, and this time he gives it to Caroline. And then Mara finds a shield. And then when they reach the third stop, Colton finds a shield and he trades with Lisa. And this really ticked off Lisa because obviously Colton is a lot heavier than Lisa. I mean, he looks pretty strong, so she's of course not happy with that. A lot of people aren't happy with the fact that they're now going to have to push Colton up the hill to this castle. And then we see Rob R find a shield and he gives it to Jam Jam because he said that Jam Jam was like looking at him, this puppy dog look, and he was begging for the shield basically. So Jam Jam takes the shield and he takes Mara's spot. And she is not happy. And neither is Michael because Michael was like, wait, I thought we were going to have some discussion over who was going to get the shields. I wanted to plead my case for a shield because I need a shield. So he's mad at Jam Jam. Mara's mad at Jam Jam. But they have to get up this hill within 45 minutes and they don't have any way of keeping track of time. So they're like, all right, we just got to get up to this castle or else we're not going to get any of this prize money and no one's going to get shielded. So they do make it to the castle with 10 minutes to spare. So the shields go to Jam Jam, Caroline, and Colton. And while they're out there, Michael once again brings up the fact that he doesn't like how the shields were distributed and he thought that he should have been able to plead his case. And Alan is like, well, this is something that you can talk about at the round table tonight. So once again, we see the players mingling and we see some of them saying that they're planning on voting for Donna. And then Portia is again talking and she says that there are 4 traitors. Now, how on earth does she know how many traitors there are? She got to be the secret traitor, right? Like, how would you know that? And Ron is thinking the same thing. He's like, all right, she had the 2 slip ups earlier, and now she's saying this. It's got to be her. And he starts gathering his group, and he's like, hey, we got to vote for Portia because I know it's her. So then we get to the round table, and everybody's sitting in silence. And I'm wondering, all right, who's going to be the first person to talk? Because I'm thinking if I'm at that table, I don't want to be the first person to talk because you would think that maybe the first person that talks might be the traitor. I don't know. But then Natalie calls out Donna and she says that she hasn't been talking to any of the other players. She's been keeping to herself. And the other night at the round table, when they took their blindfolds off, she looked awkward and nervous. And Donna's like, I'm just quiet. And I can see Donna's point because, like she said, she's in here with celebrities and people from TV and they're all over the place and that's not her. She's a mom. And they're like, no, you've been on TV, you blah, blah, blah. And that's true. She has been on TV, but at the end of the day, it's because of her kids, not because of her. So I can see why she would be a little standoffish and not wanting to be in the mix a lot. And Donna's like, well, if you guys vote for me, it's going to be a wasted vote because I'm a faithful. Then Ron says, well, I've got 3 pieces of evidence that I think that Portia is a traitor. He said the first one is that situation between her and Candace and Michael. And then he said the second one was her making those slip ups earlier saying that she unalived Ian. And the third was her saying that there were 4 traitors. How would she know that? And everyone starts looking, they're like, what? And the people that heard her say that she unalived Ian were like, yeah, we were right there. We heard her say it. And Portia's like, well, maybe I misspoke. I do that sometimes. It was an accident. And then Candace defends her and she's like, that's just Portia's personality. Like, she's a lot. She talks a lot and she probably doesn't know what she's saying. But there's no way that she's a traitor. And she puts the spotlight back on Donna. And then Donna puts it right back on Candace. She's like, well, it could be you. And then Michael interrupts and he starts talking about the shields. And then he says, when we got rid of Ian. And everyone's like, who is we? Are you a traitor? Who is we? He's like, what? Yeah, you said that. We all heard you say that when we got rid of Ian. Who is we? You gotta be a traitor. It was crazy. And then Alan comes in and he's like, all right, it's time for a vote. So everyone votes, and Donna and Portia are getting a lot of votes. So it's pretty neck and neck with them. Michael is getting some, but those two are getting a lot of votes. But ultimately, Michael ends up with 4 votes, Donna gets 8 votes, and Portia gets 10 votes, which means that she was banished from the castle. But before she was banished from the castle, she had to go to the Circle of Truth, and they asked her, was she a traitor? And it turns out that she was not a traitor. She was a faithful. And Ron feels like crap because he's the one that pushed this agenda that it was Portia. So now the target is on Ron's back because people are like, he manipulated us into voting for Portia. He said that he had all of these pieces of evidence. Maybe that was to throw us off of his scent. Maybe he's the traitor. Speaking of the traitors, the 3 traitors receive letters from Alan that says that they have to complete a unaliving in plain sight. And if they're able to successfully complete this, then they will get the chance to unite with the secret traitor. But if they fail, no one will be unalived that night and they won't get to meet the secret traitor. So they're nervous because they're like, how the heck are we going to do this? Because they have to get the traitor cards behind picture frames in the, like, where the bar area is. And then they have to pick from the secret traitor shortlist whoever's card that they want to unalive, and then they have to take that card and burn it in the breakfast room. And everybody is around, so they're like, how the heck are we gonna do this? Rob says that he knows exactly which picture the cards are behind, but he needs the people out of the room so that he can get the cards. So Candace is thinking like, how am I gonna get these people out of this room? And then she decides, well, you know what? Maybe I'll start a conga line. And she gets everyone to join in except Rob C and Tiffany, because Rob C was like, what's going on? Like, why are they just doing this out of the blue? He's like, something's not right. He's like, they're trying to distract us. There's probably going to be an unaliving in plain sight, because when people start doing crazy stuff, they're trying to distract us. So he tells Tiffany, like, let's hide. We're not getting involved in that Congo line. We're going to pay attention to what's going on. So even though they didn't participate, it still gave Rob R the chance to grab the traitors cards. He grabbed them, he looked at the cards, and he had to figure out how he was going to get this information to Lisa and Candace. Well, he saw his chance. He was like, all right. He was like, hey, Lisa, you want to play chess? So they're playing chess. He's like, no one's going to pay attention to us playing chess. Like, I can tell her. And this was pretty smooth. This worked out for them. He was able to tell her the players, and she was able to choose which one she wanted to get rid of. So the options that they had were Monet, Rob C, Kristen, and Tara. So they make their decision. They obviously couldn't clue Candace in because they couldn't take the chance of getting caught. So it's time for everyone to go to bed, and they're like, how are we going to get in there and burn this card? But somehow they're able to sneak in there and burn the card. And we end the episode with Candace coming in, seeing that the card is burned, and she's like, man, I don't even know who it was. I don't even know who the choices are. I want to know who it is. And so do we. And that's where the episode ends. And once again, this was another great episode from start to finish. You guys let me know what y'all thought about it in the comments down below. And if you want more Traitors content, then go ahead and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.